Shalom, 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 man. Shabbat, shalom. We made it back to another Sabbath day. Hope you guys are in the spirit of resting. If not, force yourself to be in it. Hope you guys had a good week. If not, man, this is your chance to hit the reset button and get ready for the next week. First and foremost, we want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of His only begotten Son, who was an instrument of salvation for the nation of Israel, right? Who we generally see as the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But of course, we understand that they are the speckled bird across the four corners of the earth that have been scattered, right? And that's why we make these videos to rein them back in, to edify those further that already know who they are, and just continue to spread this gospel. Let me share my screen and we'll play the blowing of the shofar so we can dispatch some of these angels and have the Lord be with us while we partake in this lesson today. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Get off my screen. Move. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Come, man. Come. Today's lesson is going to be part 2 of what I did on Tuesday, right? Make sure your surroundings. Today, we're going to get into another analogy. I know you guys know I love my analogies, man. And when I find a new one, I just got to share it. From the previous videos I did with never play chess with a pigeon to another analogy I use, fish out of water. Today's analogy is going to be the coffee bean analogy. Have you guys ever heard about the coffee bean analogy? Brothers on the screen? Come on, man. We get to analogy today, man. Right? When I and apparently it's a pretty known analogy, but I guess for people that's older than us, they probably know. Like our parents probably know it, but I thought it was interesting, man. So we're gonna share that today. Do I want to share the video first? Yeah, I'll go ahead and share the video first. Let me see. You guys will be in South Georgia today. If you're looking for us in Macon, we will not be there. We'll be in South Georgia today. There we go. Another Ian Big interview, man. Another Ian Big.
Addicted to them interviews, man.
I ain't gonna lie, man. They are addicted, man. I have a long drive to work from time to time, man. It's like an hour to the office, and I always looking for certain things to watch or to listen to. His videos right now, his interviews are just kind of, it's one of those things that the brother said I'm kind of addicted to right now, right? But I like listening to other people's backgrounds and stories, man. It gives you it broadens your horizon when you look at life. You realize there's different type of people out there with different type of experiences, and you get to learn new analogies like this one, right? So you guys let me know if you can hear this. Again, man, fair use.
And I think the point about this, what I'm about to share, is that the messengers in life can come from anywhere in life. And messengers don't always look like you. They don't come from the same background as you, but that's why they're the messenger. They bring a different message from a different place.
And the messenger he's talking about, so just to get a little background story on this guy, he was a D1 college athlete, right? Ended up winding himself in prison for, I think he got a life sentence. Yeah, he got a life sentence. He got 65 years. And he accidentally unalived somebody. And everything went downhill when he was a D1 college quarterback, and everything went downhill after his injury, right? And so, it's the whole dynamic of having it all, being that guy, being him, to serving life in prison. You know what I'm saying? And so what he's saying right now is that when he first got to the county jail before he's going to prison, he ran into this black dude that's trying to prepare him for prison, right? Because he just went over it. Everybody's telling him he's gonna have to join like a gang and the Aryan Brothers or whatever like that. And he was telling Ian, he was like, bro, I don't want to join a gang. I'm not built like that. It's not who I am. And my mom told me, like, although I'm going to prison, if there is a chance for me to get out, to still be the person that she raised me to be. She doesn't want me to get any tattoos. She doesn't want me to join a gang or anything like that. She doesn't want me to change. And so I promised my mom I wouldn't. And so a black dude came up to him, which was 1 out of 10 people, he said, that gave him some advice that wasn't, hey, you need to join a gang, right? But he gave him some advice, and this is the advice that he gave him through this analogy, right?
And so Muhammad is the guy in county jail. He's telling me about what prison's going to be like, and he's telling me, it's all about race. He said when you walk in the door, the race runs everything in there. Race is king. All the gangs are built around races. You're a white guy, the white gangs get the first dibs on you. If you survive the white gangs, you'll fight the black gangs. If you survive all this, you earn the right to walk alone. He's telling me things like the strongest man in prison always walks alone. You don't have to win all your fights. You got to fight all your fights. These things that sound motivational and good, but man, when he's telling me it's back 2009, I'm looking back at this guy like a deer in headlights. All this violence and terror I'm about to walk into. And that's when he's like, hey, let me break this down for you a different way. He said, I want you to imagine prison as a pot of boiling water. He said, anything we put into a pot of boiling water will be changed by the heat and the pressure inside the pot. He said, I'm going to put 3 things in the pot of boiling water and watch how they change. A carrot, an egg, and a coffee bean. So here's where I first heard the story of the coffee bean. It was the summer of 2009 in a jail cell in Dallas County Jail. 10 years before John Gordon and I write a best-selling book in 2019 called The Coffee Bean. So he starts off. He's like, hey, first things first. If I put a carrot in the pot of boiling water, what happens to the carrot?
I'm going to ask you brothers, what do you think happens to the carrot when you throw it into boiling water?
Get soggy.
What about you, Obadiah?
A carrot into some boiling water, it started kind of cracking, breaking.
Both of you guys are kind of right.
I'm like, the carrot's going to turn soft. He said, that's right.
You just missed it.
Huh?
I said, you just missed it. What'd you say?
I said, does it swell up?
Nah, he said that a carrot, once you put it in boiling water, it goes from being hard to soft. It goes from being hard to soft. All right. Let me keep going.
He said, but the carrot went in the water hard and firm. But the water, the prison, turned the hard carrot soft, mushy, weak. You don't want to be a carrot. He said, what about the egg? What happens to the egg in the pot of boiling water?
And y'all know what happens to the egg, right?
In the boiling water?
Yeah. You ever had a boiled egg?
Yeah, kind of like soften up.
Nah. So the inside is liquid, right? And when you put it in the boiling water, it gets hard. So you go into the boiling water soft, but you come out hard, right?
I'm like, the egg is going to turn hard, like a hard-boiled egg. He said, that's right. He said the egg has a shell that protects on the outside. But inside the shell, the soft liquid core, the yolk, the heart can become hardened. He said, now if your heart becomes hardened, you become incapable of giving or receiving love. And he said, if you're incapable of giving or receiving love in the world you're going into, you don't come back as someone your parents recognize.
And that's one of the things that he was telling the guy, that he wants to come back the same person that his family and his loved ones recognize. Because so many people come out of prison and something's off about them, right?
Then he asked me, he said, what about the coffee bean? What happened to the coffee bean in the pot of boiling water? And I didn't have an answer for him on that one, Ian. I didn't know what happened to a coffee bean in a pot of boiling water. And that's...
What do y'all think that happens with the coffee bean in a pot of boiling water?
It either does nothing or the color starts to fade into the water.
What about you, Obadiah?
Dude, it gets small.
Does it get small? Does it get soft? Does it get hard? Like,
It gets small. It'll get kind of like smaller.
one of y'all had the right answer, man. You know what I'm saying?
When Muhammad shared with me one of the most important and transformational messages I've ever received in my life. He said, if I put a coffee bean in that same pot of boiling water we call prison, he said, now you got to change the name of the water to coffee, because the coffee bean, the smallest of the three things, small like you, had the power to change the entire atmosphere inside that pot, because the power's inside the coffee bean, just like the power's inside of you. And he said,
boom, right? If I was back on my soundboard, I hit the explosion, man, right? So when you put the coffee bean in boiling water, the water doesn't change the coffee bean. The coffee bean changes the water to be like itself, right? It's the power of influence. So remember how last Tuesday I said we was going to go over make sure your surroundings negatively. Well, now with this coffee bean analogy, we're going to go into how you can change your surroundings for the better, right? And actually use your influence. That makes sense, right? And just think about how powerful that is, about how just one coffee bean in boiling water can change the whole, and I just got done drinking coffee, right? Can change the whole pot of water into something like itself, right? And that's what we're going to be talking about today, which literally just made me remember a precept that I did not even put in my lesson, but I'm going to add it to the end. Let me see here. All right. Had to put that one in. All praise to the Most High. So this is Romans 12:2, right? We're gonna keep in mind that analogy throughout the whole lesson, man. We can start from top to bottom. Romans 12:2. You're on mute, brother. The book of Romans, chapter 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Right, man. So Romans 12:2 is letting us know, hey, look, don't let this world, which the world is the pot of boiling water, right? However you want to look at it. When you come into the truth, the world is a pot of boiling water because it's so much not like you. That water in its purest substance is so much not like coffee, right? But what is Romans 12:2 telling us to do? It's saying, hey, look, don't let the world change you. Be the person that changes the world. Remember what he was saying, that coffee bean is so small, that pot of water so big, but that coffee bean's influence the water to become to become like coffee, right? And that's what you want to be, right? What I got next? We're gonna go to First Peter, man.
So basically what you're saying is, King, you want to be so you should try to want to be the example for other people instead of other people that's bad influencing you to do stuff bad.
Man. So on Tuesday we went over how bad company can corrupt good character, right? But vice versa, man. If you're really moving in the spirit, you can be the example, you can be the influence, right?
First,
this is 1 Peter 1:6. We're gonna read through 7.
1 Peter 1:6, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations.
It says that, hey man, we go through seasons in this life, man, where it seems heavy and you have manifold temptations, right?
That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory, the appearing of Jesus Christ.
Right. That the trial that you're going through, the boiling hot water that you're going through, is just to try to bring something out of you that was in you, right? You know what I'm saying? You hear that phrase, it's not on me, it's in me, right? Whatever's inside of you is gonna manifest outside. Just like the analogy of gold in a fire, right? You know, we talk about putting stuff in this boiling hot water. What happens when you put gold? Say if you got a dirty gold nugget, right? What happens when you put that in boiling hot water or a flame? Is it going to melt? Is it going to become soft and melt? Right? It's not gonna melt. Well, yeah, if you get to the right temperature, it'll melt, right? But what happens is it's gonna purify, right? If you get it to the right temperature to where it'll purify a little bit, but it won't melt. A lot of the impurities will fall off, but it'll still stay that gold nugget. You see what I'm saying? And what you have is it's just taking all the dirty stuff up out of you, and it's leaving the pure state there. And it's the same thing when you go through trials and tribulations. That's all it's doing. It's shaking off all them cobwebs, all them temptations that you go through, shaking off all the impurities about yourself. And when you come out of it, you should be looking like a pure person, a stronger person. You should never be coming out of trial after trial after trial, right? And you never gain a sense of confidence. You never gain a sense of self-awareness, right? It kind of goes into what Brother Azrael's video was yesterday, right? So many people go through so many trials and they get worse, man. And they allow these demons to attack their lives through ADHD, through all these other things, man. And that shouldn't happen. These tests and these trials were meant to purify you and make you stronger, to let you know that, hey, man, that test was so easy. If I had to go through it again, I could do it with my eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? Just like a test in school. Once you make an A on it, it's like, man, I could take that test 100 times over. I already know how to pass. But a lot of people in life, man, we go through tests and trials, and we're like, man, I don't ever want to go through that again. And rightfully so sometimes, but you got to be able to be like, man, if I had to go through that again, I'm coming out quicker because I know what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And so going through tests and trials, it should build you up to that point where you get confidence and self-awareness. And you're willing to share your experience with other people to help them get through it, right? That's what being that coffee bean is, and having that influence, right? We go to the book of Isaiah 43 and 2. Come the book of Isaiah chapter 43 and verse 2. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Right, man. The Most High is saying that, hey, look, when you go through that boiling hot water, right, he's with you. Really, the power of your influence comes from the testimony that the Most High gives you by making you sustain that trial, right? The influence that the environment gets is from the presence of God when he's with you, right? Think about it. What they call the 3 Hebrew boys, right? Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Azariah, Hananiah, and Mishael. When they went through the fire and they came, somebody said, man, it looks like a 4th person in there with them, bro. Right? When they came out, though, what was the true thing to influence the people that let them know that what they believed was right? It was the presence of the Most High that was around them, man. Right? And they came out saying, like, man, we're not praising these guys for who they are, but we're praising them for who they serve. And that's how you got to be in this truth. That's how you got to be as a follower of Christ or a true Israelite, right? Knowing where your influence really comes from. We say it all the time, John 3 and 30. He must increase, I must decrease. All right. Let's go to Matthew. You know, it wouldn't be right if I didn't bring out a classic scripture, man. Bring out another classic scripture really quick. Boom. Matthew 5 and 13.
Matthew 5 and 13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its flavor, if the salt have lost its savior, which shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men.
Right, man. That's like if you have a bad coffee bean, man, and it doesn't got no flavor no more. It's kind of dry and cracked out. You put it in the water doesn't even turn brown, man. Like, you know, it doesn't turn black. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's like, man, that coffee bean is worthless. But I bring this out to say is because we were commanded to be, or we were stated to be, the salt of the earth. And salt, what other analogy is better to show that, hey, look, we are the influencers of the world. And we say this all the time on the street corners. You know, he didn't choose us because we were more in number. He, first and foremost, he chose us from his promise. But him choosing us, we were supposed to be a standard in the earth for everybody else to follow. We always talk about how we drive culture, right? When you add, I think there was a video, man, you know, I definitely ain't got time to find it right now, but there's a video going around saying, and it was like the top 5 influential cultures in the world, right? And the first one was Black people, African Americans. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how we probably live the worst out of everybody in the world, but we're the number one driving force when it comes to influence, right? And we always say to people, what happens if we take our influence, that's the number one driving culture in the world, and we do the right thing? Then everybody else is going to want to do the right thing, right? If all Black people, it was known that all Black people wear fringes, don't you think the whole world would be wearing fringes, bro? We got everybody wearing chrome heart and all of this stuff, right? If we were wearing fringes, everybody would be wearing fringes. Easy. You know what I'm saying? If Black people made it cool not to get tatted up, people wouldn't be getting tatted up. You see what I'm saying? If think about it. The only reason why people wear grills in their mouth, from white people to Hispanics to anything, bro, it's because of Black people. What happens if we show them things that we're supposed to be doing, like keeping the family close, right? Getting married and stuff like that, not propagandizing adultery and stuff like that, perpetuating adultery and stuff like that. What happens when we start influence the world for the right thing as the salt of the earth and giving the earth that type of flavor? You know, we giving them the wrong flavor right now, right? You know, we in a world where we're supposed to be, you know, adding some sweetness, pause, right? We making it spicy, pause again, right? We making it spicy. And they didn't call for that, man. Because, you know, one thing that happens when you make something spicy, people start sweating. You know, people start, you know, kind of having a hard time digesting stuff, right? And like Christ said, man, his yoke is easy, man. As long as we do the right things, because it's going to be good for us. It's going to be good for us. This is 5 and 13. This is 5 and 13. I guess I go straight to the next verse. Yeah, I go straight to the next verse. I don't want to go hit that right now. I don't want to hit that one right now. I'm gonna go to Matthew 10 and 16 first. Right.
Matthew 10 and 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Right, man. He's letting you know, I'm sending you into a pot of boiling water. But one thing he didn't say was to become like the water or let the water affect you. He didn't say, I'm sending you as sheep in the midst of wolves, so become like a wolf. Did he say become like a wolf? No, he said be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Nothing in this said become like the wolves to overcome the wolves. No, he didn't say that, right? He's letting you know, I'm sending you into this place, man, and I want you to come back the same, but understand what you're going through, man, is going to be scary. As a sheep, just think about it, bro. In the mind of a sheep, and you walk into a pasture and it's got a wolf pack in there, you probably terrified. But he's saying, man, be wise as serpents, harmless as doves, man, to be able to overcome that and get up out of there. Same thing we got to do with our influence. We go into this pot of boiling water in the world, right? And we want to come out. We don't want to get soft like the carrot. We don't want to have our minds hardened. like the boiled egg, but we want to get the mission done that we're supposed to, and we want to come back home as we were sent. You know what I'm saying? We want to come back home the way we were, not turning into the water, or not turning into a wolf, because it wasn't commanded for us to do so. Let's go back to Matthew 5. We're going to go to verse 14. And I'll keep it wide. It's Matthew 5, Matthew chapter 5, starting at verse 14.
Matthew 5:14. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
Right, man.
Oh, my bad.
I'll break it down. I might break it down verse by verse, man. But a city that's left on the hill cannot be hid, man. It's got to be visible to be impactful, right? And so as a person, that's how you got to be with your influence. A lot of brothers want to stay in the background. A lot of brothers don't want to, do the work or anything like that, man. How are you going to be impactful if you're not visible? If people can't see you, if you're hard to reach, right? You blocking people and stuff like that, man, just because they're annoying, or like, for instance, we run into this a lot, man. People say, man, I couldn't be out there on the street corner, man, because I ain't got the patience for it. Brother, how are you gonna be impactful then? Like, how are you gonna use the knowledge that you have to share with people, man? If every time you get pushback, you want to just hold your talent in, right? He already told us he was gonna send us in the midst of wolves. You still gotta be able to operate within them wolves, though. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I feel like that's a weak statement when people say that, man. I can't go out there on the highways and byways, man, because I just don't have patience. But when you go in to work, when you go into work and your boss be tripping, you be patient with him. You don't be quick to snap on your boss. But how you saying, well, I just don't have I don't got the patience to go out and teach God's people, but I got patience with this boss. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? You pick and choose, and we can't do that. Especially if we know, like, patience is a fruit of the spirit, man. Long suffering. You know what I'm saying? So you can't use the excuse that you're lacking in the fruit of the spirit, man, to not build yourself up so that you obtain the affinity stones. So you obtain the fruits of the spirit, man. Right? The only way you're gonna get better at patience is if you practice at it, right? And you're gonna be out, Lord willing, you're gonna be out there with brothers to hold you accountable. So if it gets too crazy, they can rein it back in, they can rein you back in. But you got to be able to work through these things, man. And that's nothing but Satan keeping you from doing your job, saying, hey, man, I got anger problems. I don't got patience. I hate people that do X, Y, and Z. Love, joy, peace, and happiness, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need, what you're searching to obtain. And you're not going to get better at those unless you use them. It's like a muscle, just like anything else, man. You get better at loving when you actually perform loving acts. You get better at long suffering when you actually long suffer through things, man. These things get easier because they're just like muscles, man. Your spirit is like a muscle, man. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. But if you use it, it'll get stronger. Right, next verse.
Verse 15, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house.
Right, man. You can't hide your candle. You can't say you got the light, you got the knowledge, right? But you hide it, man. Right? You don't wear fringes because there's a bad stigma, this, that, and the third. You can't say you know the truth, man, and all this stuff, and the truth will set you free. And the truth is good, but you hiding bits and pieces of it, right? Do you really believe it's good then? Like, come on now. You can't proclaim to have this light and then hide it all the time and expect people to gravitate towards it. And then you always complaining why don't nobody take you serious, don't nobody want to listen to you. Well, brother or sister, man, you gotta examine your ways, man. Do you only want them to listen to you at certain times, and the other times you want to fade to black? Because you got to make yourself available 100% of the time. right? That's how you're going to be that true influence when people see you, when it's not convenient to stand up for what you're standing for, you standing up for it, right? That is what impacts people, right? Verse 16.
Verse 16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
Right, man. It says, let your light shine before men that they may see your good works, man. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. And glorify your Father which is in heaven. You go on social media, you start blocking folks and all this stuff. How are they supposed to see your light shining? Whether they like how it shine or not, how are they supposed to see it shining? You know what I'm saying? You cut people off and all this stuff. How are they supposed to see your light shining, man? Yes, it was difficult to deal with at first, man. You know, yes, they might have been contrarian to the truth and stuff like that. Yes, y'all might have been homeboys back in the day, and now they off into some craziness. Yes, it might have been you came out of a gang, or you might have came out of a fraternity, and you done told these folks, hey man, you need to come out of the gang, you need to come out of the fraternity, and they said, screw you, I'm gonna stay in it, and now it just irks you so bad that you unfollow them. But bro, you gotta stay persistent. You gotta stay persistent, and they gotta continue to see your light shine, because eventually, Lord willing, pre-adventure, the Most High will save them, right, and open their eyes, right? But you can't cut that off yourself. You don't have the power. You shouldn't have the power to do that, right? You got this light that the Most High gave you, and you don't have the authority to say when you're gonna turn that light off and turn it on, right? It stays on until the Most High turns it off, right? I want to look up a precept really quick, man. Bear with me 1 second. Became fear. I think that's is it in Esther? I think so. I think it's Esther.
What you looking for, my guy?
I'm trying to not say it, because if I say it, I might as well not even pull it up because it's short. But I think I found it. Here we go.
The
book of Esther, chapter 8 and verse 17. And it reads, and in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
Right, man. And so this is what it looks like to be that coffee bean in a pot of boiling water, man. This is what we've been talking about this whole lesson, was that, hey, man, if you with the driving force, the number one influential culture in the world, right? You should be able to influence the world to be like you. You see what happens? It's the coffee bean. They were Jews in a land that full of non-Jews, but everybody else became Jews for fear of them or respect to them. Just like the coffee bean analogy, right? One coffee bean in a pot of 2 gallons of water, right, can turn the water into coffee. It's the same thing, because that water has to respect the coffee and the entity of that coffee bean. Just like when you drive in culture, they got to respect your influence as well, right? Another perfect example for the analogy, right? Almost done. I got one more place to go. We're going to go to Genesis. Just examine a passage really quick. I'm gonna start off with Genesis 50. Do I want to start off with Genesis 50? Nah, I want to start off with Genesis 41. I'll end with Genesis 50. We'll start at Genesis 41, and we'll do verse 38. Right? And so this is the story of Joseph, man. Right? If you know anything about Joseph, he was thrown in that boiling hot water. And this is kind of what happens at the end of him being put in that boiling hot water, right? Go ahead.
Genesis 41:38. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this?
Talking about Joseph.
A man in whom the Spirit of God is.
Right, man. Again, man, who was that really driving influence force? It's the Most High, right? And that's what people are going to notice. That's what people are going to notice. Next verse. Go ahead.
39. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art.
Right, man. They'll understand how wise you are, man. And when people understand how wise you are, they start to listen to you, right? Next verse.
Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou.
So he's saying, hey, look, Joseph, an Israelite indeed, was in the midst of all the Egyptians, right? You talking about thousands upon thousands of Egyptians. And now they are all at his mercy and his influence, man. He had became that coffee bean. Joseph had become that coffee bean. And now instead of him being affected by his surroundings, the culture that he was around, the false gods and idols he was around and all this stuff, now people are going to be influenced by him. Now that color that the coffee bean gives off, the coffee bean that turns the water into coffee like itself. Now he has an opportunity to do that, because what he just said right here, he says, according to his words shall his people be ruled. He has become the ultimate coffee bean. But before we get to this point, what did he have to go through? He had to go through persecution from his brothers, throwing him into a pit, being sold into slavery, going into prison, being lied on by a woman, right? False injustice when he was in prison. Because remember, he was supposed to get out, but one of the people that his prison mates forgot to help him. You know what I'm saying? And you know, pretty much saying, I don't know what he's talking about, man. I just know I'm innocent. How many times that happens to our people, man, when we go to prison, right? That with betrayal and all of that. And at the end of it all, he didn't become think about it, he didn't become like his brothers. Because a lot of times, man, people, you know, your brothers or your family do you bad, you turn out pretty ugly, right? Character wise. He didn't become like a slave. He didn't adopt a slave mentality just because he was a slave. He didn't, although he had the chance to lie with her, he didn't become an adulterer, right? A lot of brothers, man, would be in that situation like, shit, I'm sleeping with the, you know, the man's girl, man, and he high up. And that's why people normally sleep with people's girls, bro, to be like, oh, that's Future's girl. If I can back her, that means I'm on his level, right? He didn't become an adulterer. He didn't become through his injustice. He didn't become, you know, his integrity never wavered. He stayed down. He stayed patient. And then at the end of it all, man, he wasn't affected by the boiling water, but he was now the impact that that coffee bean has on the boiling water, which turns it into coffee, right? I got one more precept. Let's go to Genesis chapter 50. And this is the reason why. 50 and 20.
Excuse me. Genesis 50 and 20. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive.
Right, man. This world was meant for bad. They thought it was meant for our bad, man, but we're going to turn this thing around. It's going to be meant for our good, man. People are going to see the strangeness of our salvation. People are going to it's going to start to click. There's so many questions in the earth of why this, why that, why Why is this great tension between blacks and whites? Why did he send us through slavery? Why? There's so many questions about why, and it's gonna start to click at the end, man. Right? And I just want you guys to know that what they meant for your bad, that boiling hot water was supposed to kill you. Now you done turn that boiling hot water into coffee, man. And the enemy hates that. The enemy hates when you turn something that he meant to destroy you into something that's more that builds you up even more, man. That makes you more powerful, man. Right? The enemy hates that. And that's how you're gonna irk the enemy. That's how you really gonna get him to start leaving you alone, man. And go ahead. You might as well waste your time with somebody else, man, because you know I ain't budging. You know, you already know I'm gonna turn this situation around for the better, man. You know, I'm gonna use my influence because my influence really better than yours. You know, and that's how you gotta be. You gotta be like the coffee bean. Brothers, had anything else to add?
Yeah, man. A good parallel is also the phrase turning lemons into lemonade, man. Turning lemons into lemonade.
Yeah.
Because that sugar, when you put that sugar with that lemon, it transforms the taste. It makes the taste delightful, man. And which was once bitter and sour is now savory and delicious, right? Turning lemons into lemonade.
God, man. Said we see who cooks, man. Because brothers didn't know what happened to, brother didn't know what happened to the carrot and the eggs, man. But it's all good. We wasn't,
you learn, man.
Look, we wasn't put on this earth to influence people by our cooking. That's what women are for. Shout out to the brother Baruch in the chat for the precepts. If you guys miss any of the precepts, man, he put them all in the chat, man. If you miss one, shout out to all the brothers on the screen that help for this edification. And remember, man, Christ said himself, "You're not helping to gather, you're helping to scatter." So gather yourself together, O nation I desire. We got to see you guys next time, Lord willing, tomorrow. And again, we will be in South Georgia. We will not be in Macon today, even though I know Macon will be lit today because of the Cherry Blossom Fest. But we will be in South Georgia today. If you want the location, hit us up and I'll send it to you, or somebody will send it to you. We'll see you guys next time. We say shalom, shalom, and shalom.